Hi there, Simon from simonwood.com. I have 4 Tempranillo-based Spanish wines in front of me from the 2 main regions that are associated with the grape in Spain. And so I've got 2 Ribera del Duero, 2 Riojas. Now I think Rioja I think of as being slightly lighter than Ribera del Duero, so I should probably do the Ribera del Dueros last. Only the Riojas are older, so I'll put them in vintage order, and if I've got them wrong, well, I'm just going to have to like it or lump it. So, first one I've got, Ribera del Duero from Torres, and it's their Celeste Crianza 2010. I am presuming this is 100% Tinto Fino. Yes, 100% Tempranillo. Let's give this one a whirl. It can be hard to imagine that Tempranillo is the same grape in Ribera del Duero than it is in Rioja. When I think of Rioja, I think of maybe something that's a little bit more fragrant, and when I think of Ribera del Duero, I think of something that's fuller and meatier and a little bit more savage. That's what terroir does to a wine. Here I stick my nose in, and there's that meaty, savoury impact, a little bit of spice, and there's a little bit of slightly... clunk is the wrong word, but a slightly angular oakiness, which I don't mind. I think it works actually quite well with the bold fruit. But it smells like a young, fresh, juicy wine, and it doesn't smell like it's going to be too big for its own boots. Let's try it. Yeah, big, rich, juicy, plump, dark fruit flavours. So you've got the berries, the brambles, plums, and the damson skins as well. But then you've got you have got a little bit of earthy fragrance on top of that, and it's also fresh. I mean, I pulled these out of a reasonably cold cellar about an hour ago, so they are on the probably ever so slightly cooler side than maybe you'd want to drink them. But that does give the fruit a chance to show its freshness. The other thing that maybe it brings out is that Tempranillo is a grape that is prone to a reduction, absence of oxygen, and it comes through in the wine. And here I get it coming through in a little bit of fragrant spiciness, a little bit of reduction good, too much, and what happens is the fruit almost closes in on itself, never to emerge. Here it feels like they've got it at a stage where it shows that character to start with. As the wine opens up, it will blossom, and that sort of slightly, ever so slight rubbery character that it's got at the moment will dissipate, and that spiciness will come through. Good start, I do like that. Yum. Next one, again Ribera del Duero, but a year older. Cäir, is that how you pronounce it? Cäir 2009. What do we know about it? They're back 14 months in new French and American oak, all Tempranillo, and weighing in at 14.5%. And Dominio de Cäir, that's the so Cäir is the winery. Give it a whirl. This is fuller, juicier, plumper. Yes, it's this feeling of riper fruit. The first one had the freshness. Here, it's more on that. It's opening a few buttons of its shirt and showing off its impressive physique. What's particularly impressive about it is it's not started to run to fat. It's ripe. But it's not gone into that too raisiny character that can be a danger in Ribera del Duero. It's a hot place, and if you leave your grapes out a little bit too long, they start to shrivel, and you get these rather desiccated flavours coming through. The fruit loses its freshness, and the wine just feels a bit heavy, a bit lumpen. Here, yes, it's riper and rounder, but still with that little bit of bite of freshness, but not as spicy, but fleshier. Yeah, it's a different style. And when you come to taste it, there is I do feel a little bit of that dried fruit character coming through, and it's this dryness of the tannins where I notice it. I'm pretty sure that it's that tannins from the grapes rather than from the oak that's giving that. As I said with the first one, this is on the probably slightly cooler side than you'd want to serve it, so I'll be very interested to see what happens as this warms up and opens up. I get this dustiness and spiciness that is part of the region, and also I think there's some of that dusty vanilla that's coming through from oak barrels. Currently, I would say I prefer the Torres one to this. This is a fuller, fleshier wine, but in its effort to impress, maybe over-trying. That's a problem with quite a few in Ribera del Duero, but Wouldn't be surprised if I revised my opinion, given these a couple of hours to come out of their shell. But I also wouldn't be surprised if I didn't. So I wouldn't be surprised whatever happens. Is that a cop-out? I don't know. I better have another drink and be quiet for the moment. Reserving judgment there. Good. And I think it's going to get better. Final two, Rioja, and from the CVNE stable. The first one is the Contino Reserva 2007. So this is the one of the first single vineyard wines that Rioja did. I can't remember how long they've been doing this, but several years. And anyway, let's give this one a whirl. And suddenly you're in a completely different taste spectrum. 2 years older, but it's this gentleness and mellowness, whereas Ribera del Duero wants to come up and go and bite you. Rioja wants to caress you. And so here there is the smoothness, there's the spiciness, there's a bit of spice from the fruit and there's a bit of spiciness from the vanilla. And the fruit flavours, not this slightly aggressive black fruit character, more on that rounded, plummy red berry. Yes, there is a bit of blackcurrant and blackberry in there as well, but it's this gentleness and effortlessness that makes me feel I'm going to prefer this to the previous two. I may be wrong, let's see. Yeah, effortlessly attractive, that. There's this rounded, mellow confidence about it, and it's like one of those people who doesn't really have to show off because they're impressive anyway. So here, it's strange. Where does orange peel in Rioja come from? I get this characteristic of orange peel coming through, a bit of orange blossom. Yes, there are the red fruit flavours in there. But there's this spice, this vanilla impact. There's a general gentle juiciness about it, which is very alluring. It really is a lovely, a harmonious wine. You find yourself using all these wine terms that you think, God, that sounds a bit pretentious. I'm going to use a ruder word then, but you taste that and you think, well, that's why, because it is lovely. I do like that. Let's see if its stablemate can better that. This is the CVNE's Imperial Rioja Gran Reserva 2005 vintage. Give it a whirl. Now, a Reserva wine has to have spent at least a year in barrel. A Gran Reserva has to have spent at least 2 years in barrel. And I stick my nose in here and I notice the impact of that extra time in barrel. I can't be sure how long they've had it. The 2 years is the minimum, 1 year in the minimum for Reserva. Often they end up getting more than that, sometimes considerably more. Here it feels like it's like just stretching as it's come out of its shell. 2 years in barrel, a lot more time in bottle, and at the moment it feels there is this slightly dusty, ever so slightly musty oak character coming through. I'm not quite sure whether it's the bottle itself or the wine, but it's one of those that I want to keep swirling and seeing whether it comes out of its shell, so I will do. And I keep swirling and more fruit comes out, and I keep swirling and more fruit comes out, and it almost seems to be getting fresher before my eyes, and that mustiness slightly receding and well, disappearing with every rotation, and so now it feels like a full rounded, quite broad-shouldered, fleshy wine, maybe not as fine-boned as the Contino, but smells like it's going to be quite satisfying. Big, full, firm, tannic style. Tannins from the grapes, tannins certainly from the wood coming through. There's a chewiness, and there's this is what makes me concerned about whether it is ever so slightly corked, because I was expecting a little bit more. That fruit was emerging, but I don't know. I really am not quite sure whether that is the best of bottles. So what I think I'll do is I'll shove the cork back in. I'll try it again tomorrow. If it's startlingly different, I'll do a little bit more on the end of this video, and then I will report back. But for the meantime, the Contino's the star. The two Ribera del Dueros are okay. The Torres one was the one I prefer, but I wouldn't be surprised if the other one comes out of its shell, or retreats into it rather than coming out of its shell. It was all there and sort of going, here I am today, but I think that maybe there is a subtler side of that to emerge. It's one of the things that slightly concerns me sometimes doing these videos, because you get my out of the horse's mouth. I'm a very pretty horse, but I'm still a horse, and you get instant opinion. Sometimes wines really do take a time to show their true colours, and so yes, I think I will report back. Anyway, for the moment, see you soon. Quick update on those two wines. The Ribera del Duero stayed pretty much as it was. That I had trouble with that dried grape character that was slightly dominant, and it remained all like that all the way through. The tannins never really relaxed, and it just stayed that little bit hard. The Rioja, on the other hand, oh, that blossomed, and yes, it had that character. I was thinking, is it ever so slightly dusty, musty, corked? No, it wasn't. I got that wrong. Hey. We get things wrong, and the wine blossomed, came out of its shell, and it was just a lovely, elegant, perfumed, relaxed, complete wine. One of those that I hogged at my end of the table on Christmas Day, I'm ashamed to say, but it was very tasty, and it was delicious wine, and so go out and buy some. Hey, see you soon.